What's up, guys? It's Joey,
And it's Jendy from the Evolved by Experience podcast.
and today we're going to be talking about paradigm shifts.
Paradigm shift. What is it, you ask? Well, paradigm shift essentially is the way you think, right? It's a mindset. So a paradigm shift is a change in your mindset. More specifically, a moment in time where an event may have occurred, and it essentially forced you to change your way of thinking.
So, for me, um, mine wasn't more so like a instant like shift. It wasn't like a one-time thing that happened that kind of led to another thing or led to like an awakening, I should say. For me, it was more so like something that happened over time. So, in the previous video, I had mentioned I moved out when I was younger. When I moved out, bills, started coming. They started building up and everything like that. I wasn't old enough to have any credit cards. I wasn't old enough to do anything. So I had no choice but to start making money, right? At the time, COVID has just started. I don't really like talking about this, so bear with me while I try to like ease into it. Um, COVID started, whatever. I was living with my boy Casey, and I started like making pre rolls. Right, I started selling pre rolls. Boom. So long story short, fast forward, I started making money, started doing other things. Evolved around like the marijuana business, I guess you can say, right? And that's like how I was providing. So I continued to do that. I made my own brand. I started doing all these things, right? The packaging started coming out. So nowadays they have boxes that come with like little watches and cars and keychains and all this other shit, right? So I started the baggy wave, right? I don't want to say I per se like started it myself, right? But like I was one of the first ones that started making baggies and like creating them myself, right? So by baggies I mean like the little mylar bags, right? So I started doing this. I was getting really comfortable during these times, right? I was making like that song by Lil Baby. I don't even remember what it's called, but he's like, I made heroin money off weed.
Yeah.
So that's how I was feeling, right? I felt untouchable in a way, I guess you could say. Like I didn't need to do nothing else. Of course, like I had other businesses lined up, right? Like I had one foot in, one foot out of a clothing brand. I did the rental cars. Like I done did, like I don't want to say everything under the sun, but I done did a lot of things that a lot of people are trying to do right now, right? I don't want to say that none of them can work because they 100% can, but the thing is, I was so comfortable in what I was doing, right? Like I didn't need to do
Yeah.
nothing else. So like when you get really comfortable with something, you don't need to change it up, right? Well, technically you really do, or else you're gonna end up fucked later, right? But we'll get to that part. So you feel like you don't need to change nothing, right? But in reality, like it'll like subtly come, and you won't really kind of see it coming, I guess you can say. So um, to continue on, right? I was making money, I was filing taxes, I was doing everything I needed to do, right? I started obtaining my own cars, my own apartments, like credit cards, and this is obviously over a 3, 4, 5 year span, right? But I was doing really well, and like I don't know how to say it. Like I thought that I can make $100,000, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
this is my whole like goal, right? Before I started all this, I'm like, yeah, I make $100,000, like life's gonna be, like set, like and money's gonna make itself at that point, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody complains, like, oh, I need money to make money or whatever, right? So once I have the money, then I should be able to continue to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, boy, let me tell you, I done made on paper, like I recorded how much I made in one field of work, right? That doesn't include any other side work, whether it be rental cars, like just side jobs I've done, actual jobs that I've had, things like that. It doesn't include it, right? I write down how much I make a day, like how much I take in, and how much I profit that day, right? So
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly how much I made since December 14th of 2021, right? And like it's definitely meticulous and stuff like that. It's annoying, it's boring. But at the same time, like it really helps with like keeping track of everything, right? So with that being said, since December 14th of 2021, as years went on, the money started decreasing, right? Every month, like, I don't want to say every month because some months go up, some go down, right? But overall, like, let's just say, right, ballpark, um, I was at like 350 in 2021, right, in profit. Then like the next year it was like 280. Then the next year it was like 265. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm realizing this, right? And I didn't realize this till this year. So like I'm like, damn, like every year it's going down. And then like I'm looking at the months that I had like in 2021, 2022, and I'm looking at the months that I have now. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, yo, the numbers aren't the same as they used to be. You know what I mean? And that has to do with like a bunch of things outside that I can't control, whether it's like dispensaries opening, like whatever, just me not having the time to run around anymore, whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, right? Let me cut it off so that way you can tell a story. Um, like the money's not the same no more, right? I got so comfortable that I refused to do anything else, and like it got to the point where like I'm making bills and I'm making more than bills, but it's like there's no margin anymore like there used to be, right? Like I used to be able to go buy whatever the fuck I wanted and not care. Now I'm a little more meticulous, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously I make
Gotta
money
watch the
other
pockets.
ways. Yeah, you got to, bro.
Doesn't even matter if you have a lot of money, man. You
You
gotta have a budget,
bro,
because I
you feel me?
understand if you
So,
start spending
yeah.
just because you think you got it, that money's gonna disappear fast.
So don't get me wrong. Like I said, I recorded how much I made, but I wasn't recording how much I was spending. So that's why I was fucking
Woo.
up. So it's like
That's a
I'm
gem
making
right
all
there.
this money, right?
That's
And
a
I'm
gem
buying
right
these,
there.
bro. I'm doing all this shit, right? I'm doing all this, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I got the money. The money's being made every day, bro. I had days that was like, it was a lot of money coming in, bro. So I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, you know what? Oh, my little brother wants shoes. Yo, here's 4 pairs. Boom. Go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Christmas time, bro. I'm Santa Claus. Fucking Santa Claus. I'm spending 10 grand minimum for Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, and I got siblings all over and stuff. I'm traveling. You know what I mean? I'm doing all this. I'm doing this off like being comfortable, dude. You know, so like I said, now part of the reason that we're starting this podcast is because, like I said, I'm still surviving. I'm still floating off of that alone. You know what I mean? Let alone everything else. But like I'm realizing that it's not the same, right? And I need to change it. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to step into other fields. I need to do other things, right? And I'm built for it. It's just like I'm comfortable, or I was comfortable where I was at, right? So that's my shift that I had to make. I had to shift over and get comfortable with things like this instead of comfortable with what I was doing before. So
makes sense. I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
So like during that time period, right? Like whenever you would think about the future, would you, when you were making a ton of money, when you thought long term, like what was in your head? Was it, oh, I was gonna take this money, put it somewhere else to work for me, or was it, oh, am I gonna keep doing this until the wheels fall off? Like, what were your plans, during your best months? I guess in your future, because at least for me, I'm the type of person that I'm always thinking about. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, boss?
I'm the type of person that's always thinking about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Not in an unhealthy way. I'm just always trying to be proactive and think and plan. I don't know if you're that type of person or if you're more of like a go with the flow, be in the present type of person. But what were you thinking during those times? During your best months, like in terms of the future and where it could have or can still take you.
All right. So I'm very much both, right? Like I'm very big on the future, and that's why I don't get along with a lot of people, is because a lot of people live in the moment, right? But I definitely have that side of me where I do live in the moment at some times, right? Like we're here at this dock with the fucking jet ski. That's living in the moment, dude. That's not playing in my head, right? Like that's like, bro, that's living in the moment, right? So like I have a little bit of both to me. In them times when I was like making all that money, don't get me wrong, on my heaviest of months, right? I'm talking about like 70, 80 in a month, right? And I'm like, fuck, dude, like, bro, I'm not even doing nothing really like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm fucking killing it, right? So, at the time, like, I didn't have a specific business. I didn't have anything, right? Like I said in the last video, I come from like more so a broken family, right? So all I could think about was like, fuck, I'm gonna have like, you know what I mean? We're gonna have this money, like we're gonna go buy a fucking farm, we're gonna have a house over here, we're gonna go have a house in Italy, like fucking Bahamas, like bro, I'm just gonna have like a happy life with my family, right? I didn't know what business was gonna take me there, and that's honestly why I lost that 100,000 fucking 36 times over. You know what I mean? Like I then spent it 100 times over again. Because I didn't have a specific plan. My specific plan to me was get 100,000, right? Boom, throw it into something. I didn't even fucking know what I was gonna throw it into. Dude. I would just like throw it into something, right? And it's gonna keep generating. But that's where I fucked up, right? I didn't have that like specific blueprint, right? I didn't have the plan A, plan B. I just had a fuck it, like here's an idea, right? You know what I mean? I had the blueprint, but there was nothing on it. It was just a blueprint, right? You know what I mean? So
you had step one, obtain the paper,
obtain, but
there's no plans on it.
Exactly, bro.
I
so,
feel you.
don't get me wrong. Over the time, like I threw a bunch of money in, like that's another fuck up. I had Bitcoin, right? I had fucking like 2.5 Bitcoin, dude, and I sold that 27,000 Bitcoin at 120,000.
Oh my
God!
No, you did.
Nah, I swear to God. But so I have XRP. I got all these other fucking coins, and that can be a whole nother video, a whole nother topic. But I'm very heavy in the coins, so if I ever needed to, like, let's just say I fucking fell broke right now and everything was just fucking crashed on me, I can pull out enough to where I can move away and go do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, dude. So I have like a few little eggs, but as far as like anything else, like I wasn't too into the future. All I could think about was trying to repair like the broken side of me, or like the broken pieces. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, not that it wasn't the time to do that, but it was a time to do that in other ways, and I wasn't focusing the right energies in the right places. So
okay, so you kind of explained it, but I want you to go a little bit more specific in terms of like, so how has your mindset changed from when you were making your most amount of money, you had the 70, 80, $90,000 months, to now where let's say maybe you're not making as much money, but I can definitely tell that you've gained the wealth in your mind versus the physical.
Of course,
So
yeah.
where that mindset, right? What's the difference now between, let's say, old Joey and then present Joey?
Okay, so well, obviously, right? Like you gotta. They say that millionaires lose thousands to become millionaires, right? And billionaires lose millions to become billionaires. So, realistically, it's all part of the game, dude. I'd rather have like the mindset now that I have than have all the money that I've lost. You know what I mean? Because if I had all the money that I lost, I wouldn't have fucked up anywhere. And if I didn't fuck up anywhere, then let's just say sometime soon or down the line, my fuck up would have been a lot greater. Instead of having a bunch of little fuck ups, it would have been one big fuck up, and it would have been like that. Probably would have been the one that put me down and out.
You'd rather fuck up 100. You'd rather fuck up 100 pack than a million. And the
100%,
ticket, fucking up the ticket,
bro,
no good.
100%. So like, yeah, the mindset is definitely more valuable than whatever it is I could have had, whether it been cash or whatever the fuck it was, you know. So, yeah, I appreciate life a lot more now. Don't get me wrong. I definitely budget a lot more, right? Like I said, if I want to go buy something, I fucking go buy. I do what I want when I want, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like I'm a lot smarter now.
Yeah, 100%. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You feel me? That's
so,
look,
you know?
buddy. Yeah, just because you can, right? Yeah, nah. So yeah, dude. Fucking, I'm happy where I'm at now. I'm happy that I lost all the money. But I also had fun losing the money, right? So it's like, it's all learning, dude. You gotta you gotta keep trying at it, right? So I've had times that I've been down and out and fuck like, dude, like I done lost 50,000 fucking with this dude. Or I had this one time I lost a box coming from fucking Cali, right? I flew out there, everything, spent all this money, fucking. I lost one box. That one box cost me $35,000. One box, and it's a 4-day span of like seeing it in my face, and then like, boom, like nope, no more shit going.
Oh no.
Yeah, so like, bro, I done had some times where I'm like, bro, fuck this. Like, I'm just gonna spend the rest of my money and I'm gonna go fuck off. Like, I don't even give a fuck anymore, you know. So, but it's not worth it. You know what I mean? So that's in the past. But mindset's definitely more valuable than whatever I could have had in replacement.
Yeah, man. I feel like when you make so much money and you're young, it's kind of like, yo, it's hard. Like, you just want to go do everything you couldn't do, you know. And I know that feeling, bro. Like you start touching money where like you don't gotta really worry about how much you're spending. Like you just know it's coming, and then it's like it bites you in the ass. But like it's like when you never touched that kind of money before, it gets to you, bro. Like you're just like, fuck it.
And that's the thing. And like, so for me per se, and I know for you too, because I watch you grow up just as you watch me, right? Like the thing is, I'm flashy, right? I definitely am flashy, like my car, my fucking jet ski, whatever it is. Like I'm flashy, but the thing is, I'm very humble, and I don't like letting everybody know. So I'll buy the nicest of the things, but I wouldn't
call that flashy. I'd say you just like luxury.
Of course, yeah.
I wouldn't call it flashy because you, like you said, you're still humble about it. So I wouldn't call it flashy, but you like the finer things in life, and that's okay.
Of course,
and that's okay.
But my point behind that was more so that I wasn't spending the money to show off, right? It wasn't for that. It was for me to fucking be happy, and everybody that was spending the money wanted to be happy as well, right? So it worked in the time, but I also realized that like I was getting a high from stuff like that. And this is me and my therapist talk, right? She is like, you know, like you get a hit of dopamine every time you see somebody else smile. Like every time, like that's what drives you. So she's like, you'll spend all your money. And she was like, you'll continue to buy your sibling stuff, and you'll continue to do this and that. She was like, but the thing is, not only do you build like the expectation in them for it, you know what I mean? But she's like, you're building like a false hope and a false high for yourself. You know what I mean? So it's just like everything in total, bro. It's all learning. You know what I mean? Having fucking money and not having money, you gotta learn both sides of the game. You know, so. Yeah. Tell me about yourself. I've been talking for a while. What's one change in your life that you've had that kind of shifted for you?
I mean, I honestly have two different lenses that you can look at it through. I have a health lens, and then I also have a financial lens that kind of my mindset has kind of shifted. But since we're on the topic of money, I guess I'll
do money, and then we'll both do health as well.
Yeah. I'll talk about the finances. So, I mean, I was kind of in a similar boat as Joey. You know, I wasn't doing the same things, but when it came to the money, actually it was around the time when I started, you know, doing credit repair and business funding. And, you know, a lot of I started seeing a lot of money all at once at the same time. And it honestly just kept coming. And I was just like, okay, like, cool. Like, what do I do now? Right? Like, you know, like I have all this money, so you feel me? Like, you just don't really know. Like, you feel me? You just start spending it on dumb shit. You know, and one thing about me too, like I have a big heart, you know, and it could get taken advantage of a lot of times. But yo, I was really just that. Yo, if you went out with me, you wasn't paying. Like that's really how I was. Like that's really how I was. I'll keep it a buck. Like I cannot. I don't even know how much money I probably spent just covering the tab and the bill for a nights out with my friends or with my family, whatever the case was. Like, and it just obviously it makes me feel good as a person because it's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
for once in my life I can finally provide. Like, yo, like, nah, I got it. Like, I got it. No, don't take your card out. I got it. You feel me? Like, so like,
Fact though.
yo, so for me it was kind of just like, damn, like, you know, it just made me happy to be able to finally be able to do something like that, right? But it can only last so long, because as we all know in business, you go through seasons. At
Facts.
those points in my life, I was at a peak season where I was making the most amount of money. I thought I was the happiest. In reality, I wasn't. I was just kind of depending my happiness on the amount of money that was in my pocket, but I wasn't truly happy though. I would only
I like that.
be happy when I was spending money, which is not okay. It's very unhealthy. And it kind of just got to a point where the money went away. There was a point where that's it. Like the money just disappeared. I started stressing again. I had to, kind of watch how I spent it. Um, and it was kind of like it felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? It felt very like just just very belittling. You feel me? Like you just went from being able to spend and do whatever you want whenever you wanted to. If I wanted to take a trip here, I'd take it. If I wanted to go here, I'd do it. Like it didn't matter. From now having to watch how much I spend on a regular lunch, like kind of it humbles you. It humbles you a lot because now I just went from having all this money to now it's gone. I just blew the bag. I fucked the bag up. So like that was very hard for me, in my life to kind of like come to grips with at first. Like it was like, damn, no, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't care if I want to do this, I'm gonna do it. It don't matter how much money I have. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out until it starts to add so much stress in your life that it's like, bro, is living this lifestyle even worth it when I know I can't afford it right now? So like it was very hard for me to like be like, oh yeah, yo, I gotta cut it down. Like
Yeah.
you feel me?
You don't want to say that to
Yeah,
nobody.
nah,
You
you
just
don't.
deep down, you're like,
I don't even want to admit
got
it
it,
to myself.
got it.
Yeah, like I just want, it was mad hard, and I'm just like, yo, and the change in lifestyle where like I kind of had to like turn my brain on now when I actually was gonna go spend money on something where I was like, okay, cool, can I actually afford this? How much is it? Okay, do I really need this? Okay, maybe I don't need it. Like it it really changed the way of thinking. And honestly, I think it was for the better because like we said earlier, I'd rather fuck up a couple 100,000 than a couple million down the road. So for me, like I would rather just learn these lessons now, and I'm glad I learned them now because now I
Facts.
know that at least no matter how much money is coming, like I understand what happens if I'm not responsible with that money. Because there's one thing to get the money. Getting the money is the easy part. You got to keep that shit and then you got to multiply it. These two are the hardest ones. So cool, we learned step one, but the whole thing is that we want to be able to grow towards the future and be able to provide, you know, essentially provide a safety net for ourselves so that we're not always stressed. At the end of the day, financial stress, especially in today's economy, is a real thing. Like there's people that live in complete stress and depression and all this stuff because they can't even afford their basic needs. Because the economy is so bad. So luckily I've always been in a place where my rent was always paid. Like I've always been able to feed myself. Don't get me wrong. There were days here and there where like, oh shit, I actually don't have money for food. But you figure that shit out. Like it's not that, it's not that deep. You use your rewards points on your apps, whatever the case is, you figure it out. Like real shit.
Mo's app, like, hold
Yeah,
on,
yo,
I know
that
I got some
Chipotle
points
rewards
right
go
here, like,
crazy.
queso and chip, alright.
You feel me? But like the biggest thing with those finances was is that I really went into a super deep depression over that. Like I wasn't happy with myself. And at the time of the transition, I also wasn't really in good health either. Like I was probably the biggest I've ever been in my life. Like I looked in the mirror, I wasn't happy with who I was. I was constantly upset, and then me being constantly upset kind of flowed into the other relationships in my life, and it just was creating a whole spiral and just a bunch of negativity, and I really was down bad, like super down bad to the point to where, you know, um, like real life, I didn't want to live. Like I would wake up every day like, damn, like I'm just here, just another day. Like don't want to live. Like I literally tell myself, I'd literally sit there in my car crying on the way back from my shop, like, bro, I'd rather be dead right now than feel all this pressure I'm feeling right now. or I'd rather be dead right now than feel this stress. You feel me? And it was a really dark couple months for me, but that kind of shifts back into the health thing now, because what really helped me get out of that super deep depression of me not having any motivation for life, me not really caring what happened, me always smoking weed all the time to try and make myself feel better, like
trying to escape.
Yeah, literally trying to escape. Like, bro, I promise, the only time I felt happy during those dark months was when I was smoking a spliff.
When
That's
you was
it.
doing something you wasn't supposed to be
You,
doing.
you feel me? Nah, straight up. I'll be honest with you. I was looking forward to the nighttime when the day was done so I could smoke my spliff and finally feel some type of happiness, right? But as we all know, that's just an escape, because that creates a facade in your brain. It's not really life. You know what I mean? So that kind of fast forwards now to the health, like I was saying, and that the health factor, the health lenses will kind of help me get out of that rut, mentally and financially, because I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, nah, this has got to stop.
Not for nothing, not to be mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was a
you
big
let
boy.
yourself go.
You let
yourself
go.
You know that. Yeah.
Yo, but if you
laugh now.
Nah, that's a fact. I can laugh now because I lost all that shit. Real talk, I lost like 40 pounds in a matter of like 3 months or some shit.
Nah, because you locked in.
Because I locked in, but that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Looked at myself in the mirror and said, nah, this can't be it. You're fat, you're broke, like fucking your girl's about to leave you. Like, bro, nah, you bugging. You're bugging. I had to lock in real quick, and I don't know what really triggered that in my head. Honestly, for me, it was kind of just like one of those things that, like, I knew I was destined for greater. I just had to find the energy within myself to go get it. Because I've always known that I was destined for the great things. It's just during those dark moments, it's so hard to see how you're going to get there. And when you can't see how you're going to get there, you kind of start doubting yourself a little bit. You kind of start, doing shit you're not supposed to and kind of losing sight of the vision. But to the grace of God, I was able to kind of remind myself of what it is that I'm here to accomplish. And, that's when I started locking in. I started going to the gym very consistently. I started watching what I ate. Not only did now for me at least, the gym is therapy, bro. Like, super therapy. Like, I'll tell you, one, is therapy for my mood, and two, it makes me so productive the rest of the day. It's not even funny because I'm a morning person, so I would like to go to the gym before I start my. I want to go to the gym before I start my day, because then I know are you kidding me? Leaving the gym at 8 in the morning, people are just waking up, and I'm out here pumped, eyes wide open, like I'm on coke, ready to go, like ready to get shit done.
4 Celsius is in, like, he's walking at this spot. You
feel me? Like, it is only 8 in the morning. Like, that's really, but that shit, that high, that dopamine hit different when you leave in the gym in the morning. Like, that sun rising, you feel me? You feeling good. Day's just getting started, and me being able to lock in like that kind of made me feel better, made me look better, started thinking better, right? Because now, not only am I giving my body the proper nutrition, obviously, as we all know, it helps your mind a lot too when you eat right and you drink right, right? You're able to think more clearly, you have a better memory, etc. You're able to be more productive. We all know that what you eat, you become what you eat. So, that helped me a lot, and slowly, little by little, as I got healthier, as I got more fit, I became happier. And now what happens when you're happier, right? It was all a domino effect. I became happier. What started happening? I started attracting more money, more abundance. You feel me? And because I was out there not necessarily so worried about money. It was just like I was just living my life, focusing on being the best version of myself I could be, and it just started coming. So now I went from having to really super penny pinch to now it's like, okay, cool. Like, I still have a budget, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not so stressed like I was before. I kind of have a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders, and now in the phase I am now, I'm really in just that rebuilding stage to where now I can get myself back to that point where I don't have to worry about how much I spend again. Obviously we're far away from that still. We're talking about making 6 figures minimum consistently every month to even be able to spend freely, and that's on the minimum. But, eventually that time will come and we will get there. But that's really where the kind of the mindset shift changed for me. My health was essentially a big crucial part to, getting myself out of that depression. But what, he said it himself, I let myself go, right? And the events that led up to me letting myself go were things that are kind of interesting, because not only could it have devastated my family, not only would I, would have been, unfortunately, another young kid that would have lost his life due to negligence, and not have realized his full potential. Um, yeah, I was unfortunately stabbed back in April of 2024, right? Um, of course, that was around the time where I was making, you know, probably around the most amount of money that I was making at the time, and I was spending, like I said, I was spending it freely. So I was going out all the time. I was trying to live life fast. I was clubbing every day, literally every day. Kid you not. Uh,
Paying that tab.
yeah, literally, bro, paying the tab. So it was like, me kind of like looking for that happiness in money, kind of led me down that path because it made me happy to spend it. But yeah, long story short, leaving the club one night and I ended up getting stabbed, and it actually had to do with a situation that had nothing to do with me. I had no beef with anybody. I really don't be beefing with people, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm a very to myself type of person. If there's a problem, we figure it out right then and there, and that's that,
Nice.
So, me having long-term beef with a person, I don't even do that. Like, we gonna figure it out now or just let it rock. Like, it is what it is, so. But yeah, I ended up getting stabbed. I was very lucky because the doctors told me, like, I was millimeters away from severing my main artery that runs down my leg. So, like, if that would have happened, if I even would have moved, flinched just a little bit more when I had gotten stabbed, I would have bled out right on that floor. Nobody could have helped me. No ambulance could have came in time. Nothing. Like, it was just, that's it. Like, nothing I could have did.
Scary,
So, super scary. But when it was happening, like, I didn't even realize that I had gotten stabbed at first. I'll be real with y'all. Like, I just seen these dudes start trying to jump me. I started defending myself. Next thing you know, I got one dude trying to take me down with my legs. Shout out to Murphy though, because I sprawled on that nigga. Where the bro? Where the bro? Shout out Murphy.
Nigga legs was.
Swear to God. But then the second nigga went. It was some fat nigga too. I'm not gonna lie to you. He was big. He went and like bear hugged me, and then started grabbing my hoodie and put my hoodie over my head. So now I can't see nothing. And then the third nigga was on with the knife that started poking. You feel me? So at that point, it was nothing I could really do. And then I thought that I had been pushed to the floor, but I actually fell by myself. Like, they poked me, they started walking away, and you just see me kind of stumble and fall by myself. I guess because of the shock or whatever the case was. I kind of lost my balance, whatever the case was. But then you see me kind of sit there, for 30 seconds or whatever, and then I get up, start looking for my glasses. I couldn't see shit. And then I'm like, I bet nah. Nah, swear to God, I couldn't see nothing.
Bro, fuck them glasses, bro.
I didn't know I was stabbed.
You gotta see, like,
bro,
something.
I didn't see nothing,
bro. How to
bro.
find the Nemo guys to the hospital.
Bro, first thing I did was I got up, and I was like, yo, I can't see shit. I looked for my glasses. They sitting right next to me on the edge of the building. I picked them up, I put them on, and then I started checking my pockets, make sure I got everything. Both my phones, I didn't have none of my phones. I started looking around. I found one of them. I found one of them. I found one of the phones, but then they took my other one. Fucking bums. Like, stabbing me wasn't enough. You had to take the phone.
Yeah, phone
like,
too.
Like, come on, bro. But anyways, right? I'm like, I bet I'm Gucci. I'm about to start walking back to the car. And one of my friends comes up to me like, yo, Jendy, we gotta go. You got stabbed. And I'm like, what? I look down. I see bare blood. I'm like, oh, nah. Yeah, that's when it hit me. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait. I start looking at. I couldn't even believe there was blood all over my shirt. Right. So I ended up getting driven to the hospital. And thank God everything went well over there. Had surgery, whatnot. And we were able to make a full recovery. But because of that moment, I was out for like at least 3 months or so. Not really any heavy physical activity. I didn't really feel kind of normal until about 5 to 6 months after that incident. To where I was able to move around the way I used to. So obviously that kind of contributed a lot to me gaining weight. I wasn't able to be as active as I wanted to, but at the same time, I kind of went into a little bit of depression from that too, because I just felt kind of guilty in a way that it all kind of happened. Like, I was like, damn, how did I let that shit happen to me? Like, you always think, oh, it's never gonna happen to me. It's never gonna happen to me until it happens to you. What? So it's like, bro, like, I felt. I don't even know if guilty is the right word, but if you guys get what I'm trying to say, like, I just felt bad about myself, bro. I was like, bro, how did you let that happen? Yeah, disappointed.
Guilty. You were disappointed.
Yeah, I was like, bro, how did I let that happen to myself? And then on top of that, like, it was just like, bro, like, I seen the way, I had never seen my dad cry a day in his life, bro. I'll keep it a buck with you. I was still drugged up, but I remember this very clearly when I first opened my eyes and I seen my dad there crying, right in front of my face. I was too drugged up to kind of like react to it. I was kind of just eyes are kind of slightly open. It was right after my surgery. It was wake up. Like the last thing I remember was being on the bed when I first got to the hospital in the emergency room. First wake up, I'm in my room. I just see my dad crying. I ain't never seen him cry a day in my life. And that's, when I actually, when the drug started to wear off and I woke up again was when I still remembered that. That's the one memory I remember of the day right after it happened was my dad crying, and that shit just hit me like, bro, like, how old? I was 21 when it happened. 21 years I've never seen my pops cry. 21 years. You feel me? And that shit hit me hard, and that combined with, me just kind of being lost, not really knowing my purpose, kind of what I was here to do, really just fucked with me a lot. Made me do the wrong things. I was being lazy or I was demotivated, and for me, it kind of turns into a spiral, right? Because I've always been the type of person, we both know, like, we're very disciplined people, since little. Like, we did good in school. When it came to sports, we showed up. We led the team. Like, we were very disciplined people growing up, right? So I've only ever known discipline, right? So for the first time in my life, I feel disciplineless. I feel lost. I'm like, bro, I have no order or structure in my life, right? Now, what that did was created a spiral because I didn't have order or structure in my life, I was making myself feel like shit. And because I felt like shit about myself, it made me not want to do nothing. And because I didn't do nothing, it made me feel like more shit. And it just kept going and going and going. And it's like a crazy mental spiral, bro. And it was like, fuck, like, I got to get myself out of this somehow, And then that's when, fast forward, we'll say like 8 months or so from that stabbing, 8 to 9 months from that stabbing was where I finally kind of woke myself up. Like, yo, bro, this time is going to pass anyway. You're either going to go and get what you want out of life or you're going to let that shit destroy you. And honestly, for me, I knew I was always destined for greater. So like I said, thank God that I had that wake up call, and I just got to the point where I was tired of being tired. Literally. I was mad at myself for being tired of being tired. So it was kind of just like, bro, like, I had to find it for myself. And that's one of the things, right? Like, people can tell you as much as they want, yo, do this, do that. Yo, do this, you'll feel better. People can tell you that all they want.
The blind leading the blind.
Bro, they can tell you that all they want, bro. But unless you do it for yourself and you have a reason for doing it yourself, it's not going to matter because it's not coming from within. When you're just doing shit because people are telling you to do shit, it doesn't matter. You got to find it a reason for you to do it. So it didn't matter that people were telling me that, oh, I'm gaining weight. Or, oh, you look a little bigger now, bro. It didn't matter. Or, yo, bro, you got to get in the gym. Like, it didn't matter, bro, because I didn't care. I had to find the reason within myself. I had to get tired myself so that I would have the discipline and the grit to just get past that point and essentially become better. So, yeah, I mean, that's really the two big things that kind of changed my mindset on things, because now I really think about my health long term. Because unfortunately, I was going to say unfortunately, but fortunately, because of that whole incident with being stabbed, burning all the blood work and stuff, I actually realized that I actually have a kidney disease. So, really? Yeah, facts. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I actually have a kidney disease. So my kidney, I guess, in doctor's terms, leaks too much protein. I don't really know what that means for real. But long story short, I got to watch what I eat. And I got to make sure that my blood pressure is Gucci because I guess kidney function and blood pressure are correlated. You feel me? So,
Did he prescribe you any Download?
Download was crazy.
Like, yeah, that shit, whoop, fix you right now.
Yo, okay. But so I was, I found that out, which kind of was a big lifestyle shock for me because it was like, oh shit, like, this is something I actually got to worry about, moving forward because you only get, you only get kidneys once unless you get a transplant. But like even then, transplant lists are really long. He was explaining that to me. And so you don't really want one, bro. Like, you don't want a transplant.
Why would you ask for one?
Yeah, like, you don't really want a transplant for real. Like, obviously, if that's the situation you're dealt and you need one, it's better than nothing. But you don't want to get to that point, right? So now, I had to take care of myself, and do all these things. But I would have never found that out unless I would have got poked up. So that's the one thing that came out of it, I guess, over the long term is that, I did find out about something I did have. So now where I can kind of maneuver accordingly and live my life the way I need to live it so that I can be around for a long time. Because, as much as I'm not afraid of death, that doesn't mean I'm going to go out my way to make it happen sooner. Like, I still want longevity in my life, like coming that close to death kind of made me fearless of it because there was a point in that car ride where we were crossing the bridge to enter Manhattan because that's where the hospital was, and I was looking out and I just saw the city. I was looking out the window. I was barely conscious. My friend was trying to ask me questions to stay awake, and at the time I didn't know. But apparently, when you've experienced some sort of trauma, when you feel tired and like you're falling asleep, that means you're about to die. Like when you're about to like knock out, you feel me? That means you're about to die. So it was a point where I was like, bro, I was barely awake. Like my eyes were closed, and I looked out the window real quick, and I just seen the bridge, and I seen the lights, I seen the city, and I'm like, bro, like I kid you not, I was like, and literally in my head, I'm like, yo, I didn't even make my first million yet. Can't go out like this. I swear to God, I said, yo, bro, I literally said it to myself out loud, just like that. I was like, yo, I didn't even make my first million yet. I can't go out. I was like, yo, my parents not even retired yet. I can't go out like this.
I thought you was about to be like, damn, this is the last time we'll see.
I swear to God, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, damn, I didn't even make a milli yet. Like, I didn't even touch a ticket yet. I can't die like this. I don't know where I just get life within me, bro. And I stayed up into the hospital, but bro, like, for me, it's like now I move a lot differently when it comes to what I eat, what I drink. Don't get me wrong. I still like to have fun. I'm a foodie type of person, so I will still eat, the junk foods here and there, but in much more moderation now. Before I couldn't even control myself. Now, moderation, have a drink in moderation. You know what I'm saying? So still enjoying life, but with a balance, because I understand the greater vision. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm here for the long-term longevity. So, that's kind of like what kind of changed my whole paradigm, and the way I think about life when it comes to money, health. At the end of the day, I really just want to take care of myself, bro, because we only get one body for real, and we got to take care of that shit.
My grandma says that every day. My grandma will call me every single day, right? My best friend, dude. I love my grandma to death. She'll call me every day like, Angel, be careful. She's Korean, right? So that's where I actually come from. Like, Angel, be careful, okay? God only give you one body. One body. Don't mess up your body, okay? Drive safe. Make sure you check your blind side, okay? Make sure you pray Jesus God every day. Okay, I love you. Okay.
The blind side, got it.
God, every single day. Oh, don't drive at night, okay, honey? Don't try not to. Okay, grandma, I love you. I love you, my best friend. Okay, honey. Okay, I love you. Talk to you later. Right? Literally every single day, bro. Literally one body. And she says like she hates my fucking tattoos. Not that she hates them, but she's like, you only got one body. Why would you ruin your skin? God gives you good skin. Like, all these things. So, was that everything you had to say about health?
Yeah,
Did you tie it back together?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. I mean, there was one last thing I wanted to include, but
no.
Okay,
I was gonna ask you a question anyway. So
I mean, one last thing that I kind of wanted to add in there that I kind of missed. Something I wanted to include was going through those dark times will really show you who really rocks with you. I'll be real with you. That's really like who really rocks with you, because I would show up every day. Nobody would knew that I was depressed. Nobody knew that I just thought about killing myself earlier that day. Nobody knew none of that shit. But I still showed up, though. I still smiled. Nobody noticed the damn thing. Everybody thought shit was Gucci. Not my parents, not my friends. Nobody noticed. You feel me? And not that I hold it against them. It's more so you kind of realize that sometimes you kind of got to go through the storm on your own. Of course, get the help when you really, really need it, right? But it kind of just makes you realize, like, yo, like, a lot of the times you get the most clarity when you kind of figure shit out yourself, And of course, it's healthy to talk to other people. I would never say don't talk to nobody. Here's somebody you trust that you really want to speak to. Cool, speak to them. It'll help you. It'll help a ton, But for me, those are kind of demons that I kind of have to overcome as well, that I'm working on, is kind of just opening up and talking about my problems, because it's not something that I ever got used to. I wasn't brought up in a household where, like, we have a problem, let's talk about it. No, it was just like we had the problem. Next day, shit was like it never happened. Wow. That's it. It got brushed under the rug. It's like it never happened. So for me to, sit there and actually talk about, really kind of understand what I'm feeling and how to go about it and express it, is very, very hard for me. You know what I mean? Very hard for me. It's scary as hell. Scary as hell, and I'm getting better at it every single day, But this kind of brings me back to the point to where, bro, I love you, bro. Nah, some real shit, bro. I love you. Bro, I gotta tell y'all, bro. This nigga was the only one that was mad at me when I got stabbed, bro. And I got tight at him.
And he got, I got mad at him. I was gonna mention that, but I'm like, I'm not even gonna say that.
I got mad at him, y'all. I was like, yo, bro, I just got stabbed, and this nigga's out here ripping me a new one. The fuck? Bro, I could barely walk, this nigga's ripping me a new one. That's because he cared, though. That's a real nigga. You feel me? That's a real... real right, bro. I deadass love you, bro, for that. This is the only person that was mad at me, bro. You feel me? That really was like, yo, bro, get your shit together. Like, what are you doing? How do you even put yourself in this position for this to happen? You feel me?
Because you was doing well, bro. You was doing good. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I go out too once in a blue. You feel me? I had my fun too. But like, I seen the way you was doing it, and you got like carried away. Like you said, you meant, you know what I mean? You said it yourself. That's why I got mad, and then I got even more mad at you after that. And it wasn't even that I was mad at you. I was just like you said, you disciplining yourself. I was fake disciplining you too, because knowing you and the type of person you are, like, that wasn't your vibe. You know what I mean? Like, you would never be in that type of position. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So it wasn't even that I was really mad at you, and then I just was
disappointed.
You up. You know what I mean?
Nah, he was. That was the wrong word. He was disappointed. He was so disappointed in me. You feel me? And I kind of felt a way about that at the time. Now I'm grateful because.
And then we talked to our mentor about it. I spoke to the mentor, and I'm like, yo, bro, Jendy, I'm like, this is what happened, bro. I'm like, I don't know why the fuck he's mad at me. I'm like, but you know what I mean? I'm just trying to tell him. He's like, yeah, but you know, Jendy, like, he's going through a lot right now, man. You know, you got to understand. I'm like, no, I get it. I was like,
really was.
And then we ended up, talking later.
I really was. Physically, mentally, like, that whole shit really, like, threw my whole vibe off, bro. Like, threw my whole energy, like I really went through some really dark times after that shit, so. But no, I really appreciate you for, of course, being there, bro.
That's why we're here today.
That's a fact.
But yeah. I know we probably like 30, 40 minutes in. If you guys are still here, man, I really do appreciate you guys, seriously. And I hope that you staying this long means that it's doing something for you in some way, or you're enjoying what we're talking about. So that's great. So I'm going to give you one last thing, and then, one last little story, and then you guys can go on about your day. So I'm not even asking that question, but I'll ask you off camera. To go into my health side, right? So I told you about my grandma, whatever. To be honest, like, so as you guys can see, right, we're full camera here. Like, I don't have much weight to me, right? Like, I've always been skinny, right? I grew up wrestling with Jendy and whatnot. I used to cut a lot of weight. Like, I didn't really adjust to that after high school, I guess you can say. So, like I said, I moved out after high school, so there was no, don't get me wrong, even before I moved out, there was no meals getting given to me or anything. Everything had to get figured out by me anyways. But, like, I didn't care so much about food, right? Like, my whole thing about, like, life, or my whole vision that I thought it was, is like, as long as everybody around me is happy, like, I'm gonna be happy, right? So, like, as long as I got you what food you wanted, like, fuck it, I'll watch you eat that shit. Like, that shit fills me up, right? So, like, it was a combination. What's up, brother? It was a combination of like, the wrestling and not being able to eat, and also, like, not really caring about myself, right? So my whole point behind this is that, like, over the course of the years of me getting comfortable and having the money and everything and making sure everybody else was good, that's all I really cared about, right? I didn't care about my health, my love. Like, it's funny because my girlfriend at the time, right, loved this girl to death, but she was like, how could you ever love me if you don't love yourself, right? She always used to tell me that. And I used to be like, bro, what do you mean? How, like, does it not look like I love you? Like, what do you mean? Like, and she's just like, nah, like, you don't care about yourself. Like, you don't take care of yourself, right? And da-da-da. And, like, she always encouraged me to do better, and she always, like, pushed me to go to the gym and do all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it, right? And she gave me this one saying, her and her sister, right? She was like, day one or one day, right? And then that kind of stuck with me. I started going to the gym, right? She kind of pushed me into it, and, like, things started getting a little better, but I still didn't really care to eat. I still didn't really care about no vitamins. I still didn't really care. I was more so putting on a facade just for her. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't because I truly cared and I wanted to love myself. I just wanted to make it look good. You know what I mean? So I was good at that. I was good at that. So, right? So, and that ties into, like, a religion side too, right? Like, she wanted me to go to church, and she wanted me to do all these things, right? And, like, come with me to Easter. And it wasn't her, like, pushing me or, like, being mean or anything like that. It was her truly, like, trying to help me find God, right? Yeah. Like, but the thing is, because she was pushing me towards him, it pushed me further away from him. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was like it's the
same thing we touched upon earlier. Like, you gotta find that shit for yourself, because it doesn't matter what people tell you. Like, it's gonna. It almost, when you do it, when people tell you, it's like you do it in vain almost. It's like you're doing it because they said to do it. You know what I mean? You gotta find it within you. Yeah. That's when it really, really makes a difference.
So fucking, pardon my language. So she was pushing me to go to the gym, like I said, putting on the show for her or whatever. That didn't last long, obviously, right? Because I'm putting on a show. So, like, so the health, I mean, I was super skinny. Like, I'll show you pictures, bro. And I'll throw them on the page too. I was fucking, dude, and then you can post your pictures too. And that'd be perfect. Yeah. But, bro, like, I'm talking about, like, I got a picture of me like this, like, in the morning. My hair is all fucking crazy, and, like, you can see my ribs, like, bro, inside stomach. God, like, you know what I mean, bro? Bad, gang. bad, right? And like I look at that picture all the time, and I have like these pictures from the day I first went to the gym when I was putting on that show. I like took pictures like this and like flexing, whatever, right? And like I look at those now, I'm like, damn, bro, like, I was fucked up in the game, like super fucked up in the game. Like how did I like? I'm still skinny now, but like I'm a lot happier with my image now than I was before, right? So
now you put on
like,
some muscle.
A little bit, right?
No, you put on some muscle.
I fell off, but we back on. Ever since the podcast started, we back on. Been going to the gym every day. We good. So we good money now. So yeah, man. I didn't care about myself, right? Like the whole health thing and love thing, like wasn't really a thing for me. Like I didn't care as long as you were healthy and everything was good for you. Like I'm good, right? So the moment that changed for me was me and her weren't seeing eye to eye, right? And we had broken up. No more cooking, no more none of that stuff, right? Yeah. So it's like, all right, now I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, this shit is like, it was disgusting, bro. Like, honestly, it was bad. Like, I've never been that kid that leaves a shirt on, like, at the beach and everything, but like, I was debating on doing that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so skinny, bro. And like, that was kind of what made me change, right? So like you said, you looked in the mirror, right? And like you were disappointed in yourself and you're like, fuck it, like I have to start changing. So that's what kind of made like my shift, right? Is like the thing is not only was the money starting to come down, like you said, right, at the same time, but like I look like shit, I feel like shit. I felt like I was living the same day over and over again. No new money was coming in because fucking I'm blocking everything over my negative energy. And like it was just everything overall was so negative, bro. And like I said, I was living the same day over and over again. Occasionally I was making a couple dollars here and there, so like that was keeping me afloat and keeping me thinking that things were okay, but in reality it wasn't okay, right? So yeah, dude, like you said, you got to learn on your own, right? Like, I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn, like, how to love yourself, right? Like, I feel like I was never really loved, so I don't know how, like, don't get me wrong, love my pops to death. Like, we didn't always see eye to eye, and we batted heads, like, you know what I mean? But he did everything I asked him to do. Like, he wanted the best for me, right? We just didn't see eye to eye. Everybody has their own demons, everybody has their own issues, right? And that's the thing with him. I started learning how to love myself because I wanted for more, right? And the more I started to like learn and be able to research, right, by going to therapy, going to the gym, making sure I'm eating 3 meals a day, right, instead of 1 meal a day, or no meals a day, which is what I was doing prior. Like everything kind of came full circle, right? Like I feel a lot better, I feel a lot more confident, I have a lot more energy. I'm just able to go throughout the day and like be confident in things. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm living the same day every day, and I don't feel like I'm doing this just to provide for everybody else and fuck me. You know what I mean? Like bro, now, like it's different when you find that mojo. Bro, yeah, bro. Now, like I do shit for myself. Bro, I bought the jet ski. I have yet to go out on a jet ski with anybody at all. My brother, my sister, any female, like nobody has been on a jet ski with me because, bro, I'm just living life. There's a meme that I seen earlier. So I'm gonna post it next time I go out. But it's just like I'm just living my life, bro. I'm learning to love myself, and it's fucking amazing. And where I am now to where I was 6 months ago is like a whole different ball game, bro. And like
that one, brother.
Doors, you know what I mean? It's opening doors, bro. So it's like little things like this, bro.
It's the direct correlation, right? Like I don't know about like with what you explained, I'm sure you're gonna agree. Like the mood really affects the amount of money you're making.
Oh yeah, facts.
Like you feel me? And not because
you can't pretend either. You can't pretend be happy either.
And not because the money affects the mood, although it can, but because the mood affects the money, right? When you take care of yourself and you love yourself, like he just said, when you're okay with spending time with yourself and you're happy with who you are in your own skin, that energy vibrates and radiates to the world. What is that? It starts attracting the things you want after that, right? And once you start attracting the things you want, obviously, we all have to make a living, so things like that just end up working out, especially, if you're in business, entrepreneur, opportunities start appearing, you start taking advantage of them, et cetera, right?
How can you go into a conversation with somebody, right, and not be confident with yourself? What if you run into a billionaire? What if you run into somebody that owns this big company or whatever the case may be? If you're not confident in yourself, right, if you don't love yourself, if you're not healthy, if you're not, wanting to go for more and willing to go through those dark times, right, how do you hold a conversation to where they'll take you serious? You know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to progress in any way, right? So it all ties back together as far as like drawing things in, because at the end of the day, somebody wants to meet somebody that's confident in what they're doing and right has something to sell or whatever the case may be, has this idea, whatever it is. But when I was in those times, right, I was making all that money. Like I said, I was making all that money, but I wasn't truly happy. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, I could have met a billionaire, whatever, and fucked the whole bag up with him just because I wasn't confident in myself, right? I'd rather come into a relationship, a business relationship, a relationship with somebody, whatever the case may be, fully confident and loving and being able to have, like, that overflow in my cup to be able to fill another cup instead of me letting my cup fill up a little bit and keep dumping it out. You know what I mean? To something else.
Yep.
So that way I can like continue to progress, right? So fuck the money, fuck everything else. I take the confidence, the health, you know, the mindset and everything over any of that shit, because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna bring in more for me. It's not to say the money can't do that, because the money can, but the thing is, if you're a fucking retard or you're a jackass or whatever, you just spend your money on dumb shit, or you just one of them guys that wants to go to the club and spend thousands of dollars on bottles for girls that's never going into your DMs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, like then you'll figure it out one day. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? But
no, real life, it'll catch up to you, you know, and that at the end of the day, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but I promise you that there's gonna come a point when you're gonna have taken every trip you're gonna have wanted to take. You're gonna have gotten every car you wanted to have. You're gonna have purchased your dream home. You're gonna have purchased whatever it is, your dream everything, right? There's gonna come a point where it's like, oh shit, what do I do next, right? Where kind of you get used to, because us as human beings, as y'all know, y'all reach new levels, but then you get used to that level, right? It starts to become normal. You become comfortable, right? So you have all this money. What's next, right? That's why it's so crucial to have fulfillment and have you know, a wholesome view on life. Be okay with spending time with yourself. Be happy with who you are. You feel me? And continue to prosper. Real shit. Because at the end of the day, you gotta be okay. Maybe not on the surface level, because it's always hard to say, but deep down, you gotta be okay with, let's say you lost all your bread, but you still know you can make it back because of the person you are. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to have built and lose it all, right? But you know, in the back of your head, yo, God forbid I lost everything today, I could go out there and get it again because of the person I became, right? And that's honestly why the journey is so important, and why the character building moments and just personal development is so important, because at the end of the day, what God gives, He can also take. You understand? So
He'll take it quicker than He gave it too.
Very, very quick. You know, so that's why you just gotta be happy within yourself, right? Because your happiness can't get taken away. If it's within you, if it's coming from the inside, if it's not from the outside in, it can't be taken away from you, because you radiate the happiness, you radiate the good vibes, you radiate the good energy. So,
you created an abundance around you of everything that you want. It starts to get attracted. And I don't mean to sound corny. I know there's plenty of corny videos out there, but yes, light the sage and go in circles and chant what you want. You know, I'm not here for that. But yeah, it is true though. Everything that he said is spot on.
Real life, man. And then always remember too that you're gonna have dark moments, bro. Like it's okay. It is okay. You gotta understand, like, everybody that's up right now that you see on social media, on the gram, that's super up, got all this money, at some point in time they was broke too. You understand? Right. Now if they weren't, God bless them. You know, if they came from money and got more money, that's a beautiful thing, because that's what I want to do with my family. My children are gonna come from money, and they're gonna multiply that shit, right? But majority of people, especially people that came from nothing, there was a point in life where they went through that dark season, where they went through the period of having no money. You know what I'm saying? Where they were depressed and nobody knew, where they had to keep showing up and keep going, where they had the weight of the world on their shoulders. They had all the pressure on them. They went through those seasons, right? And it's okay to go through them. I feel like everybody be trying to hide their dark moments, their dark times, and that's not. The dark times is where the warriors are made. That's where you really find yourself. And I'll keep it a buck. I found myself because I went through that hard time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to find the warrior within myself and the person I wanted to become within myself when I was going through it, when I didn't have no money, when I was depressed, all that shit. I found that within me, you know, and that's really what lights the fire that stays. You feel me? The everlasting motivation is that you remember what the dark times was like, so you're going to fight like hell to never go back there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that at the end of the day, never be embarrassed for what you go through, because at the end of the day, you grow through what you go through. You don't go through shit. You grow through shit. You feel me? So, yeah, man.
Like, remember that life happens for you. It doesn't happen to you, right? Yep. Like the life you're given, you can either continue to play the victim and say, fuck, why am I being dealt this card or whatever, you know? And I lived there for 21 years of my life. Trust me, and it fucking sucks every single day. It sucks because it'll never change. You know what I mean? The past is not going to fucking change. If anything, it'll just continue to repeat itself, right? So, like Jendy said, everybody's going to go through those dark times, especially when you're trying to like progress and go for more. If you're comfortable and you're just cool with what you're doing, you don't give a fuck, and you want to live the 9-to-5 life, or you want to live paycheck to paycheck, then you can continue to do that. But like, I know when you try to go for more is usually when you run into more problems, right? So you just got to embrace it, dude. You can't run from it. And
that's it.
How Jendy mentioned earlier, you know, he said like nobody really noticed like It's because we became really good at that game, right? Like we were raised and we thought, like we keep our emotions stuck because we're men, and if we're men, we don't talk about that, we don't cry, right? That's why you say you never seen your dad cry.
Yeah.
Guarantee that's why.
Yep.
We don't show those type of emotions, you know what I mean? But
not supposed to be soft.
You can't, yeah, you
Soft.
can't. My pop used to call me pussy for that. You feel me? Like I bust a wheelie, the shit come up a little bit. He like, you pussy, and then I'll do a backflip on the fucking bed like right after that, just because I don't like that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be called nothing like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, you got to go through those times. You got to embrace it, and you got to enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, like I know, like Jendy said, he's mentioned a couple of times he's been through his dark times, and it kind of pushed him to those lines or those boundaries, right? I've been there multiple times too. I have in my phone to this day. Anytime I've had like those that I felt like was the lowest of the low, right? I record a video of me fucking bowling.
Swear to
bowling,
swear to I did the same shit,
right? Yeah,
bro. Because like you get to look back at that
so
shit.
you look back at it, right? So I recorded bowling, like, man, I just want to fucking die. Fuck this, like whatever, right? I look back at it like a year later, a couple months later, whatever the time frame is, it'll just be like one, like I just scroll upon it one day, and I like fuck it, let me watch it, right? So I watch it, I'm like, bro, you look fucking stupid, like, right? And in the video, I'm saying like, bro, you're gonna be like, yo, you look stupid, like I already know how it's gonna go, you know what I mean? But I do that, you know what I mean? Because like I want to laugh at it later, right? Like it fucking sucks, and you feel like it's the very end, right? Like you'll get to points like I've been to those points where I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like I'm never selfish. I do everything for everybody else. Like it's the first time I'm gonna be selfish, and you're gonna have to fucking like understand me. You know what I mean? And that's how it's gonna go. And if you don't like it, then fuck it. You got to grieve when you're alone. I don't got to grieve for you. You know what I mean?
Never be afraid to put yourself first, man.
Yeah, bro,
never.
You can't.
Because at the end of the day, you cannot fill somebody else's cup.
Don't get me wrong. When it comes to that situation specifically, don't put yourself first. Don't. Had I would have really put myself first, I wouldn't be here to do the podcast right now. So, that situation specifically, no. But everything else, you have to put yourself first. You have to understand yourself. And you have to want to continue to grow for more, right? And like understand, like there's a lot of people in life, a lot of friends that I know, right? Like they have these anger issues and everything. And trust me, I've been there. I done got into the fights. I done did the stupid shit. Done thrown shit at people's cars. Bro, you name it. Like I probably had parts in it at some point, right? So it's like, bro, you gotta understand why you do that, or like why you are the way you are, right? Like I said, I have a bunch of friends that need to figure out who they are still to this day, right? Same age as us, even older than us, like.
And it's part of life, bro.
It's always gonna be an ongoing game, right? Yeah. Like you always, it's never gonna be like an end point. It's not like I get here, like I learned everything about myself now. Like no, you're always gonna like
constant self-discovery. I mean? So
you gotta.
Some people are gonna find themselves early. Some people are gonna find themselves late. Some will never find themselves at all.
I want to find myself early. I'm just like,
yeah, facts. Always, man. I mean, self-awareness is big, man. It's key. Facts. But yeah. About everything.
Yeah, that's everything. Yo, if you guys stay to the end of this video, man,
it's gonna be a long one, but it's a juicy one though.
This one's sturdy.
This one really lets you guys in deep into our soul. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Listen, guys. My name is Joey.
My name is Jendy.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Evolved by Experience podcast. Please stay tuned for more episodes. If you guys have any like content ideas or anything like that, anything you want to see us do, or maybe like people you possibly want to see on the podcast or whatever, any topics, whatever it is, please just, DM us, whatever the case may be. And,
the vibes.
We'll get it done.
Yo, you guys take care. Appreciate y'all for listening. And remember, evolve through them experiences, because at the end of the day, life is the greatest teacher. Let's get it.
It's happening for you, not to you. Okay?